Hey everyone, welcome to the next part of the live stream tonight. We're going to work a little bit on the wiring. So what we're going to do is, this is kind of part 2 for the day. We did a live stream about an hour ago, and we were talking about this. So we talked about what we did earlier, which was we cut a path into the foam right here. So we needed to, the rear of the van was just not able to hold the amount of wires we needed. And we lost both of our additional paths that we could have used. One, because right here, this is where the shower pan goes in the van. And you see this van seam right here? So that is a channel that can be used just by default to run wires underneath the van. However, that's the first place you can go. We can't use that because the shower pan is going there. The next place that you can go is right about, I think it's right about right here. Challenge with that is we have the heater in the pathway right there. So we decided, I'm sorry, not the heater. We had the end of the pull-out drawer. It was perfectly where the pull-out drawer bolts ended was right where our next opportunity to have a under the floor path for wires was. So couldn't use that one. So we used the rear of the van, and the rear of the van was able to take care of all of our control wires for our Webasto heater, our Victron battery management, and our Renogy 1 system. So all those communication wires went there. So if you run out of room, you gotta cut into the foam. And that's what we did. I thought since you guys are doing your own van, or if you're watching this and you are doing your own van, this is a perfect opportunity to show you that even though you got a plan, you got everything laid out, there's just one part that you're going to need to modify, and it's okay. It's okay to cut through something that you already had pre-planned, because I'm doing it right now. So I just want to show you. This is live. We've been doing this every single night, sometimes 2 times a night. So you guys, you get to see things how they come up. And so this is real van building right here. We needed to make arrangements to add 4 more wires, and we're doing that right here. Tomorrow I've got to go to the store and I've got to pick up 2 wires that I do not have with me tonight. So this is a 14 gauge wire with the receptacle built on the end of it. We talked about that in the past live stream. That receptacle with the end is going to be used for our water heater and for the flex space area, which can either hold like a microwave or be used as the power if you want to do a built-in induction stove. The other 2 items that we're going to be doing are these pop-up. I'm going to pull them up here from Amazon. And I just got these. I've been looking around pretty extensively for these pop-up outlets. Okay, let's go look at the computer. And let me try to get this on my face just a little bit. There we go. So if we look on the computer, this is the outlet that I'm talking about. And for some reason, hold on, so I'm going to change my, there we go. So this one is a great price. It's 45 bucks. Some might say this is high, but check this out. If we go to, let's see here. If we go to pop-up floor outlet box, and let me go back here. If we search for this, if you type in water resistant box, which is what I was trying to go for, there's this one. and it's $305 for this pop-up electrical box, which is pretty crazy. So this is waterproof, but I wanted something that was, water resistant, because we're not going to have something like a complete downpour on it. And that is where I saw these on Amazon. So I didn't get this brand, I got a different brand, because I don't like how this is kind of like an oval shape. I wanted more of a square shape. So this one, let's see here. So I went with that one that I just showed you. Where'd it go? This one. So this one's nice. It's got square angles. It's nickel finish. It's got a nice circular button. It doesn't have like a little plastic one. Even though it's a weird name brand, everything else looks really good. This is typically used for like kitchen counters. So it does have a foam gasket right there. And I think it'll be suitable for, I want to have it as the top of the kitchen galley so that you can pop this up. You can put your induction stove, stuff like that. And you can use this there, and then also you can use it for the outside of the van. And the way I'm going to mount it is it'll be facing down. That way when you pop it out, it'll have like a little hood, and that'll protect it from, like say it's just misting outside and you're trying to, unplug everything before you get back in the van, it would be protected. But what's really cool is I'm getting the one that's 15 amp with a USB outlet. I did not want it to be tamper resistant, but I think the options only allow you to do 15 amp USB so I went with a USB outlet so that you could, run the induction stove, charge your phone at the same time. So there's two of these in the van. So we've got our two receptacle plug-ins built in, which is it's essentially an extension cord. That's for the water heater and the microwave location, or the flex space I'm calling it. And then we're going to have two of these boxes, one on top of the kitchen galley, one outside at the bottom, like the foot step in for the van. Okay, so I got those two coming on the way. Some other stuff that is electrical, an item. I'm stumbling on my words. The working on this, really trying to stick to this timeline has just worn me out. So I appreciate everybody that's sticking with me on the live stream. All the nice comments, support. I need all of it. Let's see here. There's a couple other things. Yep, let me look at my orders. The next thing I got is I went in, since we're talking about electrical cables, I know this is not electrical cable, but I got these 1 foot cables for the Renogy smart batteries. So there's a link output port, and we're going to need to link each battery together. So that's how they all talk to each other. And then there's one main uplink that goes to the, this will go to the main hub, and then that will allow us to communicate with the main Renogy 1 system. There's really not a lot of information about the smart batteries, so hopefully I can do a tutorial and help you guys out. But I ordered a bunch of 1 foot cables and then a 2 foot cable for the Renogy hub. And then we got a couple other things here. We are going to try a solar panel that I haven't tried before, but I think it's got excellent ratings. I have heard a couple of channels talk about new Power with an A. This panel is going to perfectly fit between the Max fan and the Dometic RTX 2000 AC unit. It is very challenging to find a solar panel that can maximize the real estate on the roof that is not a 100 watt panel, because two 100 won't fit. So this is perfect. It's 220 watts. So when we get finished with this project up there, where this stuff comes in, we will have 420 watts. We're doing two 100 watt Renogy panels in the front. That they're going to be flanking the to the left and the right of the max fan, and then behind the max fan and in between the Dometic is going to be this 220 watt panel. And the specific dimensions, which are perfect, it's 56.69 inches wide, or I guess tall technically, and then 30 inches wide. So our dimensions, we have 58 inches wide. That's how much room we have to work with. And then we have 58 inches tall, 32 inches wide. So this is going to be excellent. And I think that is about it for our electrical stuff. Now we're just going to dive right into this video, get working here. All right, let's do it. So come on into the van. Actually, we are going to work on, we're pulling wire essentially. So let's go back to this. Let's go back to this photo real quick. All right, so let's talk about this photo. This is what we did in the previous video. So we cut this. So I just talked about that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start pulling wire. We're going to do the RTX 2000 wire pull, because I've already got that set up. I'll talk to you about that. We're going to do the two 120 volt pulls for that. The wire that we have, and then we'll see if we have time to do the ones for the USB ports. And if you guys had any questions, make sure you put those in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them. But let's go ahead, since we are, let's see here. Let's get the camera going. We're going to back up a little bit. So if you guys have ever used fishing wire or fishing cable to fish something through, that's what we're using right now. Fish tape. Oh man, you can tell that I am sleep deprived at this moment. Okay, so let's change our lighting really quick. There we go. Okay, so this is the cable that comes with the Dometic RTX 2000. So if you have the 12 volt, you're going to have this thicker one. If you have the 24, if you're running off of 24 volts, there's a different cable. It's much skinnier. At the top of this cable, I was able to, there's a special connector. So it looks like this right here. And so you can depress both pins, the pin here and a pin here on the inside. You can use like a piece of wire or some tool. This is the tool that I used, just like a little precision screwdriver. And I depressed the pins in here, and then it unclicked it and came out. This, so the challenge that I'm running with right now is I'm trying to get, I think my challenges are definitely going to benefit you guys if you're going to DIY build, because the conventional wagon is actually making it very challenging to wire anything over the roof. I have very little space to run the wires because of the A-frame structure that's riveted in the van. The second issue is, by the way, I love Adventure Wagon, and I'm going to continue to use this as much as I can. But now that I know, all of these, when you rivet the yellow steel pieces into the van, you close up a lot of access holes in the van. especially in the back. There's one big opening here and one big opening here for the door hinges. Not the door hinges. What is that for? It's an opening. These two openings right here, you have access to run and pull wire just as you do in the top. So when you rivet these steel pieces in, they blank those off and they cut them off, and they also cut off ones here. So you're kind of limited to now where you can run wire. That's why we're doing everything in the floor. Now, if you want to do, like a 1 or 2 USB wire runs, okay, you can probably do that, because the channels right here that are upholstered, they're at such an angle to where they have about a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch opening, and you can run wire behind here. It's actually a good thing, because then you have accessibility if you wanted to pull that off, do maintenance, maybe replace or pull something else. So with that being said, I attempted to take this cable, and it's thin enough to go behind that piece of, here, I'll just get a piece. So this is the upholstered panel. And so all this does is it goes in place right here. So it cleans all that up. The channel right there, as you guys can see, this part right here, the van actually goes here and kind of goes up. So there's a void right here, about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch void. So I attempted to put the wire in there and zip tie it, and it would not allow me to actually come in and close in this back section. That's where the L-track goes, and L-track holds all these panels in place. So if you can't get it in place and have L-track to hold it, then you have to think of something else. So I went to plan B. Plan B is we are taking our fish tape, and we are going to pull the Dometic RTX 2000 wire down through the van. There's a lot of sharp corners, so they actually supply you with this material. And I know we're getting into Dometic RTX 2000 territory. As far as install goes, don't worry, we're going to cover that in depth in its own video. And you may feel that we are drifting from the floor, but what's happening is the electrical and the floor are meeting in real time. As the floor is going in, it's creating issues with the wiring because of what we have going on, and the idea that we could do a lot of stuff in the walls, and now that's not so much. And the fact that our shower pan, our pull-out drawer slide, and the back of our van have all been taken up, and we can't use that space to run wire. So what we're going to do right now is we already have our fish tape right here. It's gone up through the van and up through this cavity, and it's actually pretty easy. You just put it straight up through there and just keep moving it around. If you have somebody to help you, it's easy because you don't have to stretch down. But then you basically just get the tape, it comes out here, and then you're ready to wrap it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and I'm going to get some electrical tape. And I hope I have some in this drawer because I did not plan on actually, I was planning on doing the floor, but the electrical is saying it needs help right now. So let me get some electrical tape, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it with the wire loom, tape it up, and we're going to attempt to pull it through the van. Actually, I just went by another piece of wire loom that may fit it that's smaller. So I think I'm going to try that. All right. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be right back. I'm just grabbing some electrical tape. That's over here, hopefully. That's not electrical tape. Okay, we're gonna use some green tape. All right, so I found another in my electrical drawer. I found some more wire loom. This is what they give you from Dometic. This is what I have. So, you see the size difference? So I'm going to try. Oh yeah, this is way better. Yeah, the one Dometic gives you is too big. That would not work. Because the hole that you have to put it through is, you don't really get that much room. Okay, let's see here. So we're just going to start up here. And we can slide this if we need to. Let's see if that's going to actually... Let's just see what the Dometic looks like on here, though, while we're at it. So they do provide it. All right, I take that back. It's going to provide more protection. And it crimps down, so we're okay. So let's go ahead and just put this on. And we're going to get ready to fish it through the van. Now this doesn't have to be in the exact location that you need it right now. If you've never used wire loom, you can slide it. So see, I can slide it up and down. The wire that's going through the hole first, if something happens to it, it's okay. But the wire that's being covered up is the wire we don't want to mess up. They give you a ton. They give you a ton of wire, way more than we need. And then what we're going to do is when we get finished with putting it on here, we're going to tape it at one end. And so that way it doesn't slide off. And the method I'm using is if you take it and you kind of push it like that, it'll open itself up. In a perfect world, this small wire will be on the opposite side of a seam, but this thing keeps turning on me. All right, that was fun. Okay, so we have this here, and that looks pretty good. So since we have so much extra, let's actually bring this up before we finalize it, because this up here is actually pretty abrasive. I'm not sure if I got enough room to smush this in here. Okay, I'm gonna have to do something else up there. So I'm gonna find another way to protect the wire. I have some felt, some automotive felt that goes around the wire, and that should keep it protected. It's a very thick wire, so. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get this up there if I can. So this part is difficult because we actually have to push up on the roof in order to squeeze this past. Okay. For the sake of the live stream, I'm gonna work on that off camera. Let's go ahead and pull this wire down. So you see they give you tons of cable. So first thing we did is we taped the ends of the wire here so they don't catch on anything. And then we're further going to tape this to our fish tape, which is essentially a steel wire that comes out of the wall. And then we want to wrap the wire a bunch of times around here. Not the wire, we want to tape them together really well so we can make them one, and then we can just pull them straight through the wall. What's going to be interesting is this is the first time I will have done this without electrical tape. I have no idea why I ran out in my electrical box, but yeah, we'll definitely need some more for electrical tape for when we get to wiring this stuff for real. Okay. And then you just kind of want to make it like a little nose on the end of it, so it just kind of goes down smoothly. But who knows, green tape might actually work. So we're going to take it and we're going to start feeding it through our hole. And then we'll take our tape at the bottom, and that's what we're going to actually use to pull the wire through the van. And I'm kind of just gently using my foot to get it started since I'm solo here. And you want to feed it more through the top than you're kind of like pulling down through the bottom. And then when it starts coming in, you can start taking up your slack on the fish tape. And I've done this many times, so if this looks like I did it really easy, it's because I don't know, I've installed a lot of flat screen TVs. So that's it. So now the wire is through the wall. And the challenging part now is, now we got to see, will our protected wire actually make it through? The good news is I'm not seeing any gouges in the wire. As I look at the wrong wire. I'm telling you guys, it's late. I get a little bit. Nothing. There's not that bad. All right, here we go. Before we do that, let's make sure we tape this end. And green tape will be okay. We want to tape this end shut, and it's doing the same purpose as our fish tape, where we want to make a little nose on it so it doesn't get caught and pulled off. So there we go. All right. And this is going to come through the wall completely, so we have plenty of cable to work with. All right, let's see how well this works. Can we make it through the hole? Let's see, it's very tight here. All right, answer is yes. But just barely. Okay. Actually, I need my slack. Went too far down. There we go. Whew. All right. Easy, right? Of course, if you guys know me, this top thing is bothering the heck out of me. Adventure Wagon, you can unbolt this and take it out. The problem is I've already preset where it's supposed to be tight. And I have to take this whole entire L-track out and the A-frame member here just to loosen it enough to get it down to get the wire through. So I think if we're gonna leave that for a different time. We're gonna leave that till we do the AC. All right, so we got this up here. So let's just call it a win for our AC line. I'm gonna take a couple of zip ties and we're just gonna hold this back just so it doesn't flop around while we're working on other things in the van. But the good news is, if you want to put your Dometic RTX 2000 power wire through the wall, you can. There's enough room. And the stuff that they give you to do it with, you'll be okay. All right, and there'll be another challenge to see how well this actually fits up here, because there's a panel that goes up here. And then the other fun thing we'll have to start dealing with is this section. We're going to need to figure out how to upholster it, because the kit only allows us to cover the Ford factory wire. It doesn't, it's not made for, it is not designed to handle this big bulge right here, but it's okay. We will take care of that when we need to. The convenient thing is this cable is going to go bam right here to the power system. It's the shortest run you could ask for. You know, all of this cable right here is going to be unnecessary, not used. So we can cut it off. We're not going to do it now, but we'll do it later. So I'm going to, we're just going to leave all this right here. And we're going to zoom the camera in. We're going to come to our next part where we need to, we're going to pull some USB wire, not USB wire, the power wire we're going to use to connect our USBs over there. All right, just to show you what we did with this camera, so you guys can see, this is the part of the roof. I said we have the challenge, we have this cross member right here. The wires by themselves will fit through it fine, but this protective jacket we put on here is not allowed to go all the way through. So what we're gonna do is, probably off camera, I will just correct that. But the opening we used was right here. So in the Adventure Wagon kit, when you relocate this Ford wire and you bring it, it's like right here and you have to bring it up. That hole right there is the one we went through. So we came through here and we put it through this hole. That shares the Ford wire. There's a Ford wire right beside that. We went through it, then we went down through this channel, and then we came out right there. And so that will come out there and will plug directly into our power system. Later, we'll actually be mounting a shore power plug right there. And yeah, these are just all the steps we need to take to start knocking this van out. Let's see if I can get this level and locked in. All right, so we're gonna be working right there inside the van. Actually, hold on. We need to work up here. Let me back up. Sorry guys, I'm trying not to make you seasick. Right there. Okay, let's fix our lighting and we'll get back to work. Okay, I think it looks pretty good. Yep, all right, let's do that. Okay, so next up, we'll have our wire coming through the floor and over here. But there's another wire that we're going to use, and we're going to do one option that I think would help you guys in your wiring progress, is utilizing the ability to feed it around the Max van. So what I've found to be very helpful to me is where this Max van is, there's a shroud, and We did this in Thomas's van. So there's a gap, a channel back here. It's about maybe an inch and a half by, probably an inch by an inch and a half high. And we can stuff a bunch of wires. But what's nice is we can access this by taking the vent hood, the vent shroud off. So if we ever need to do maintenance, we don't have to go through our floor that's going to be permanently put in. We can go through and change up these cables. So because our USB port for the overhead cabinet charging capability and light system is up on top, we're actually going to go on top. So we need to actually take this panel off. So that we can access it. So this panel holds this panel. Okay, and now that gives us access to this back side here. So this is probably going to fall off. That's okay. All right, so right now what we're doing is we're coming through here. So this main piece of the van here, we have a cover just like this. There's another one of these that goes there, and that's where we're going to hide our cable run. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get one of our 14-2 wires. And I think I have one that's already off of the spool. So let's use that one first. Okay, so 14-2, this is our thinner gauge wire. 14, I believe, gauges up to 15 amps. So this will provide us power for 2 of our fast charging USB outlets. It's just important to say fast charging because you need that amperage. So the circuit will or fuse the circuit at 10 amps because we need that amperage to be able to charge quick charge devices. Normal USB outlet is going to throttle you, and you know, we're building a high-tech van here. We don't need to be throttled for our USB charging. And so what I'm doing is, let me move the camera. I thought you guys could see that. So we're coming up through here, going above our venture wagon frame, and then we're just stuffing it in, and see it comes right out here where the fan is. We're going to get some more cable. If you can untangle it before it goes in there, you don't have to do it, but it'll make things easier as I wrap it around this other one. There you go. So the USB wire up here, this is the only one that's not going to be going in our floor. But since we're talking about it, might as well talk about it.
I thought I heard my name.
If you can't get the wire here, you can turn it upside down like that and then put it back in. And then sometimes it'll, yeah, boom. You just try different tricks like that if you ever get stuck running a wire. It's not going where you want it to. So this one, again, we're going to utilize this wire tray that Adventure Wagon has incorporated the Ford wire harness. The Ford wire harness, this is used for the tail lights, the blinkers, stuff like that, cargo lights. And we're going to use it as well. And if I hadn't mentioned before, I'll probably repeat myself, but marine wire is what you want to use because it's got that extra piece of rubber on the outside, or sheathing. Yeah. And I know this is a hassle to get all these kinks out of it, but you want to do it because if I need to pull this further in, I don't want it wrapping and coiling up like that when I'm doing my wire run. This typically happens at the end of a roll, which this is, so. Okay. We need this one to go back there to the back. So I have a panel. There's a panel right here that I took off. And just so you guys know what we're doing with this, we have two upper cabinets. So they're from Flatline Vanco. And they bolt into the L-track. They're a Adventure Wagon compatible part. And they bolt into the L-track. But for the look of the van, we have these really nice Lumacoin lights. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are bright. They're individually controlled though, and they do convert to red for nighttime. So you can turn them all to red. But I like to have a little bit more light in the van. You can't believe, you can't have enough light in the van, I guess is what I'm saying. So I have these two 4-foot LEDs that are motion activated. So when you want them on, you just wave your hand underneath the upper cabinet and they'll come on over here. Or if you're over here with this kitchen galley, you just wave your hand, it comes on. You can hold your hand and it'll dim. And then you can hold it again and it'll go back bright. And it just gives you more light over here. So that's what this is going to power. So we need to make sure that this has the ability to reach all the way over here. And we need a little bit of excess so that we can just make sure we got enough wiring here. And this is where zip ties come in. Don't worry, this is going to be temporary, and then you can cut it, and then when you're ready to do your permanent wire, you can just redo it. It's just really here to hold it. But we're going to make use of this. So right here, this is the wire tray. So for the top piece, we're going to use that. And we're just going to I'm going to do a couple zip ties. So I know these are probably going to be permanent holding spots for it because I've just done this before. So there we go, we got that. Let me stuff it in here. And we'll do one more right here. Okay. So I'm happy with that. That's probably just going to be its permanent location. You got plenty of slack right there to mess around with if you need to. We don't really have to go back over here. And this is just going to lay down. Now remember to use my method of either using a little bit of the thin kill mat to tar, kind of like a tar paper it down, or use tape. Tape's not going to hurt anything, but the tape is going to help it stay put down and not rattling if you go over bumps. All right, I'm going to come over here. Just put another zip tie. A little hack is if you're trying to wire something, take the end of the zip tie and bend it over so it makes like an L shape, and you can kind of like needle it through the holes in the sheet metal of the van, and it'll help you. It'll just help you get it through the sheet metal because it's weird. Okay, so now we're getting back to something that's more relevant to the floor video. So over here, we've got our path that we've been working on. And then we have our wire. So I'm trying to see. I've got my network cable and this other cable where we need them underneath this foam. However, we need to cut some of the foam away. Be very careful, not with the razor because it's sharp, but don't cut a wire, a hidden wire, that you've already hidden underneath the van. You will be very, very upset. Okay, so now I think we can, all right, there we go. So now we can run these two wires over here. Perfect. So now that we have the floor in, right now we're just doing cable management, and we're just triple checking everything because once we have the actual floor down, we're not going to be able to double check these wires. Now, by no means do you have to do this how I'm doing it. The only reason the wires are like this, if you guys didn't listen to the other live streams where I talked about it, the reason I'm doing this is because my priority is other components. So the flip and fold seat, the shower pan, the bracing for the pulled out tray, making sure that the floor doesn't buckle in the back. That's my priority. Wherever the wires need to go to make it to their home, then they're going to have to take some other path because it's like this area is already spoken for type of thing. So, all right, now we got our network cable and our Victron communication cable right here. So they got a place to go. This is all loose because this area right here is going to have that that upholstered piece cover it. So we're just keeping everything loose. And the reason I'm taking you through this detailed process is you're seeing it live, me deal with problems and come up with solutions. You can spend 1,000 hours on a computer with SketchUp or some engineering software and like get this really laid out. But for me, it's actually more enjoyable just to do it step by step, because over the process, I've changed my mind on the kitchen galley placement, and taking into consideration this is a spec build, so this is for the business, the shop. It's not a customer's van yet, but it is designed in a layout in which it's a lot. People are looking for the additional 2 people to be seated, the additional cargo space, the shower, be able to shower inside the van. But everything else is kind of, trial and error as far as how to set it up. And that should get you guys really excited about your own personal build. It does not have to be perfect in the first go. I said in the last live stream that, the materials we're working with, it's foam, wood, and glue. So it's just simple stuff. So if you tear it up, you can fix it. It's not the end of the world. But what I'm doing right now is I need to have this to be able to wire over, come through, and get to our fuse panel. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to come through here and then make another cutout to go across here. Pretty sure that's what we're going to do. I'm going to look to see if I can come on this outside. No, I don't have room. All right, so we're just going to come straight down here. We're actually going to come through the middle because there's a loop in the Adventure Wagon kit that is for a cargo tie down, but we're going to repurpose that as a wire run for a wire run. And be careful of the wires that you have underneath this. And so I cut like a triangle. So this one I didn't actually go all the way through. And we're going to see if that works. If not, we'll just cut it all the way through. But this one, we just got to be extremely careful because this is our main power wires are underneath here that run to our sub panel. And we just need to make sure that we do not nick them. Okay. So now we'll take our wire. I'm going to put it through our little wire run that we have down here, which goes underneath our floor. And what's cool about locating this hole right by the kitchen galley is you can use the step to run all your wires down into the step, finish your floor, and then take them and go up through your floor. So you can run your wires and put the floor in at the same time. Again, this tape is temporary. We're just holding stuff up and out of the way until we get to get the panels and stuff on. What's nice is the Venture Wagon has a complete upholstered panel, and we'll be able to mock up where we have these openings on the back, and then we'll know where to actually locate all of our cables, the Renergy 1 screen, and other components. Okay. And give yourself a bunch of slack as you go up, just in case you have to move it through or change it up. So we're going to leave it just like that. And then bring it right down through here. And then we're just going to leave this slack down here. There's not much of the wire left. So you guys can hear all that squeaking? That's why we want to use tape. Now this is, again, we're just doing this temporary to hold it back. But you do want to have some type of something to hold it and keep it from moving around, whether that's like a felt lined automotive like wire wrap or something, just so it doesn't has the potential for noise. Okay, the USB for that side is finished. We may run another USB here, but we're gonna, let's see, how are we doing on live stream so far? So the last part I'll do, as it's getting pretty late here, we're just going to talk about the 12-3 wire. And so this one, I'm going to show you where it's going to go. And let's get this over here. So we're going to take this wire. Now remember, we need 2 of these, and then we're going to do 2 14 gauge wires, and we're going to run them. So 2 of the 12-3, those 2 will go to our pop-up outlets, and then the other 2 14 gauge, one's going to go to our hot water heater, and then the other one's going to go to our auxiliary plug in the flex space of the kitchen galley. So now that we have this wear out, we can make sure that, we can fit, 2 in the floor here, and it looks like we can. So I'm just going to put this here. Get a lot of extra room. We'll come back behind the heater. Come around here, and then we're just going to make sure we lay this down flat. We'll make the decision next week, tomorrow, if we're going to put some wire loom around it. If we do, it'll be this. So we'll take this that we didn't use, and So we're going to be using this. We'll put both of the flat 12-3, and then we'll put the 14 gauge in this. We'll put it down. We'll wrap it in felt around the outside, not all the way, just so it doesn't move around. This will protect it from the shower pan tray as well as any abrasion, and we'll be good to go. So this will just come around here. And then what this will do is this will also come up through this hole here and serve our electrical boxes. So that part's going to get really exciting. So once the floor is kind of the boring part, once we get all this wired and put in here, once we get the kitchen galleys in and we actually start hooking up the electrical components, it's going to get really, it'll be really fun to see this thing kind of take shape. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to stop this for tonight, and we'll pick up tomorrow with finishing up this wiring. So what I'll do is I'm going to finish the wiring ahead of the live stream, get everything tidied up in the floor because I got to go to Lowe's and get 2 more wires. I'll get that checked off. I'll get everything wrapped, wire wrapped, ready to go. The floor all cleaned up. And then these panels have to be painted. They need to be painted, dried. And as soon as they're dry, we can glue them down. Then we'll do that overnight. And then even though we wanted to do the lawn sill tomorrow, that's probably going to look Tuesday. Looks like we're going to be doing that Tuesday. So yeah, if you guys have made it this long into the stream, I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to let you guys know to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And then if you have any questions, you can... Man, that is so bright. That is so bright. And if you have any questions, put those in the comments, and I'll answer them as best I can. Also, if you haven't, check out the DIY van build cheat sheet. Link is in the description below. Yeah, it is late, so appreciate everybody watching. Keep checking out the live streams. We're gonna get this van done, and it's gonna be really exciting. So until then, we'll see you guys in the next live stream.